Welcome to the Living Crucified teaching series on the spiritual disciplines. Developing spiritual disciplines is the rigorous soul work that accompanies our spiritual sanctification as Jesus followers. Augustine, the 5th century doctor of the church, is quoted as saying that we can be so heavenly minded that we're of no earthly good. Many, if not all of our gifts, come to bear in the way that we communicate with each other. One of the most overlooked and important aspects in communication is our ability to listen. Today, we're going to talk about how to become better listeners. So first, let's dream of an entire culture of relationships in the body of Christ where everybody feels respected and heard. A culture where we engage with each other in such a way that each of us feels talked with and not talked at. We develop a way of relating to each other in which it is God honoring and His presence is invited into our conversations. We can actually do this by practicing the spiritual disciplines to develop active listening. These are the disciplines that come into play to develop the critical responsibilities of active listening. The inward disciplines are presence, quiescence, and attentiveness. These are disciplines in which we defer to another person, considering them greater than ourselves. The outward discipline shows up as submission. We similarly defer to another person. We're honoring them. And then the corporate discipline becomes guidance and wisdom, where we employ perhaps individually within a relationship with another person, and oftentimes in the collective body of Christ, those capabilities to guide a conversation. Being a good listener can improve the relationships we have with our family, friends, and coworkers. When we try to genuinely listen, others will realize that we care about them. And here are the outcomes a listening culture can produce. Existing good relationships will be protected. Strained or broken relationships will be restored. You and I will both feel not just listened to, but valued. Unity will triumph over division. Gossiping and quarreling will be minimized. We will experience deeply connected relationships as we become better listeners. If these outcomes sound attractive, let me suggest our part in creating such a culture. Let's learn to develop the skills of an active listener. So how do we do this? Let me give you 5 ways that may help. Let's start by just practicing being present. What does that mean? Well, first part is to plan ahead. Don't schedule another appointment that you may feel pressured to get to if this is an important conversation you're going to have with someone. If they really need to express themselves, you need to be present for them. Another way of being present is to eliminate distractions so that you can focus on the other person. Turn off your cell phone, any of the devices you have, turn those off. Pick a quiet corner somewhere, wherever it is you're going to meet. Pick a quiet place where both of you can be undisturbed by the surroundings. Don't talk while the other person is talking. And wait for the other person to finish talking before asking a question, unless there's some need for clarification, and we'll get to that in a moment. Next, let's strive not to simply hear, but to actually listen. James says everyone should be quick to listen, slow to speak, and slow to anger, because human anger does not produce the righteousness that God desires. Learn to ask open-ended questions at appropriate openings. For example, how would you change this if you could? Or how do you think this should work out? That gives them an opportunity to stop, reflect, think, and to speak back to you in a way that they know they're going to be received. The evolution of their thought. They're working through some kind of an issue, whether it's with you or with someone else. This will help establish trust. Instead of trying to be understood, try to understand. Remember, it's better to be interested than interesting. Paul says, do nothing out of selfish ambition or vain conceit. Rather, in humility, value others above yourselves, not looking to your own interests, but each of you to the interests of others. Another way is to learn to demonstrate active listening. How? By physically showing that you're actually listening. Make eye contact. Lean forward. Nod occasionally. Smile appropriately. Adopt an open posture. Make occasional semi-verbal responses. Mm-hmm. Yes. Oh, of course. Ask them to repeat if you feel you've missed something that they're saying. And one way to do that is just to repeat back a summary of what they've said in your own words so they can hear what you think you heard them say and correct any misconceptions. And please try to suspend critical analysis. Shut down your active mind while this is going on and keep your ears open. Stop thinking about what you will say next in your response. Wait until they've fully expressed themselves before you try to respond. Another critical thing to do is be sure to do a heart check. Be discerning, not condemning. Strive to mentally understand, so that you have sympathy with what they're going through, and to emotionally feel, that to have empathy with their situation. Avoid trying to fix them or their problem unless you're invited. And here you need to be careful. Remember the Hippocratic Oath. First, do no harm. Show them the same respect, compassion, grace, and forgiveness that you would like to receive. Above all else, filter the entire conversation through the golden rule, Jesus' own words. So in everything, do unto others what you would have them do to you. So, brothers and sisters, listen up. See you next time.